Done by someone a little bit more confident than myself.
Just a little bit.
I've got a little Disney fist up here to show my support for the Disney Workers Union. All right, let's
That's
see.
the only union you've ever supported.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chief colors have. Roth. Let me pull the calendar down here. We are up to the 23rd of September. Last week, you remember I said I was 3 days ahead of schedule. Well, now we're 7 days ahead of schedule, or in reality, 2 weeks in the comic strip. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
I can only credit the chief colorist being here. The reason that's helped me get so far ahead.
That's right.
Okay, here is Monday.
Use.
Here is Monday the 9th. I showed you this last week when we drew it, and finally, it took the chief colorist how many days?
Like 3.
to do all this. What did we count? 45 cats?
Yep.
Something like that.
45
All right.
cats.
The joke is we used to have a mouse problem before you moved in down here. It's just all the cats going running amok. I went over it last week. I won't go over it this week. It is the Monday. All right, let's put that aside. Here is Tuesday. Bo and Fido are playing chess. Fido that says, if you move here, you could capture my queen and win the game. But if you're not smart enough to do that, then I can move this here and then I win. I'm going to assume the most logical thing. Checkmate, I win. How do you know that I'm not smart enough? You play with me. Oh, there's Tuesday, the 10th. All right, here is Wednesday. We have Dino, Bo, Fido, and Felicia. Fido asks, "Do you love me?" Bo whispers, "Be careful." Yeah, sure. I love you, Fido. Sicko. I'm flattered, but you're not my type. There really was no way to answer that one. Let's tell his girlfriend what he's into. Bad cat, too. All right, Thursday. Bo and Fido. Could you turn that down? I'm on hold. I'll miss my TV show. You can watch it later. You can go outside. And Bo's outside. And on the phone, we hear, "Thank you for holding. Your dog's health is as important to us as it is to you. A professional will be with you soon." Fido's in there enjoying his program. He's on hold to help the dog, and the dog is outside. Oh, horrible. Here is the Friday. Chief Colorist has not finished coloring yet. I'll be giving this right back to her so she can finish it. Fido walks into the bar. Of course, it's Friday, so they're in the bar. "A round of drinks for all my friends. I'm celebrating tonight." "Thanks, Fido. What are we celebrating?" "Bogat's lost his wallet." That goes back to the chief colorist.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
And here's the Saturday. Really makes Bo look like a ghost when she hasn't colored him yet.
Well,
Actually, we get to see how she does the couch. She's yellow and blue in here, then she goes with the browns. The couch has a sort of it's a leather couch, so it has those colors shifts. Who is your favorite, me or Felicia? I love you both equally. I love both of you equally. And Felicia pops forth. "It's impossible. You have to like one of us more than the other." They storm off. I don't really like either of them. All right, let's send that one back to the chief colorist. And here is the next week, which I put together
getting these.
remarkably quickly. Oh, you're getting a couple of them. Erased next Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, here is the Monday. We have Bo, Fido, and Felicia. And Felicia says, "In ancient times, humans used to worship cats as gods. Unfortunately, they do not anymore." There's a picture of her shrine to herself. What happened? It didn't work out because gods have to show mercy. And cats don't show mercy. This one goes to the chief colorist. Here is the Tuesday. We have our new character, Closet Cat, who has tripped on that piece of plywood on the floor that Fido had nailed in place to block the hole. How many years ago was that?
Quite a while ago.
Yeah. I thought cats always landed on their feet. This one's broken. "Bogash, can we fix the new cat?" "You're all fixed." "Oh, that's good to hear." It's a little neutering joke there. And send that to the chief colors. And this one we still have to finish. And I wanted to point this out. Let's see if the camera can pick this up. know how I talk about how the pencils tend to create like dirt and muck? If you look really close, you can see just how mucky and dirty the pencil has become. It's going to be a nightmare to erase. When I erase, it's just going to send black streaks all over the place. But when the pencil sits around too long, and this thing sat around at least 3 days, it starts to do that. All right, Fido, Bo, Felicia. Felicia's sitting in front of her shrine to herself again, which you see again in the background. I don't understand people. They let us live here for free and feed us whatever we want. Well, I understand them, Felicia says. They're stupid. It can't be that simple.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know if we get into inking. That's just a couple of quick lines to finish this. We can do that. Now here is the Tuesday. Before I read it, I wanted to point out that in the background, I have all the same car. That's a joke that has nothing to do with the comic strip. I had noticed long ago that just about every car on the planet looks alike. They all look like Subaru Outbacks. The Dodge, Lincoln, Buick, Ford, Nissan, Porsche, BMW, Chevrolet. They all have a car that looks exactly like this.
It's the Kia Outback.
So I'm assuming that this must be the perfected form of the automobile. We have finally come across it. This is the apex of automobile manufacturing. This is the perfect car, ladies and gentlemen. It obviously must be because it's all over the place. So in the background, every car is this car.
Mhm. Now you have also noted that they're all white.
Well, that was just for the photo to show that.
Okay.
Yeah. But white is majority. Well, I think 58% of cars on the road are white.
Which I never realized before.
Yeah. That's why vanilla ice cream, believe it or not, is the most favorite.
I know.
Go figure. I've never eat vanilla except maybe if you put it in root beer to make a float.
I know.
Oh, with apple pie.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Bo and Fido. Oh, sorry, Dino and Fido. Dino says, "Why do I bother? I don't matter to the world.
Oh.
You should join a support group. A support group for people who don't matter? Sure, there are a lot of people who don't matter.
Mhm.
What do we talk about? Who cares? You don't matter. You don't matter." All right. Here's the Friday. They're in the bar, of course. Dino, Felicia, and Fido, and a bunch of other people who are not part of the joke, but they're just there to be a crowd. Humans have to come to bars like this to meet a mate. Why bars? I think alcohol has something to do with it. So Dino doesn't drink enough? Apparently not. That's why he never found a mate in a bar. Well, we might have to ink that one today. And here is the Saturday. We can do the finished penciling on this. Let's see. I do a rough pencil with a Dixon Ticonderoga, which will erase itself in a week or two if you leave it alone. And then I have to do a finished pencil with a Blackwing, which is a denser lead. They always attack Bo when he comes right into the door. So Bo comes in to hang up his jacket after work, tiring day at work, and Fido says, "Meow, stop doing that." Felicia has Fido's collar on. Wolf, yeah, you too. That wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. I don't care. I'm keeping the collar. Where's that mailman? She's off to harass the mailman. We have to do the finished penciling on this one today. So let's get to work. As you all know, cartoonists are the dirtiest, filthiest creatures on the face of the planet. So I have to wear this, a glove, to keep me from getting my filth on this increasingly filthy page. It's been sitting here a week. All right. And I also like to put down a piece of paper so that I don't smudge my pencil
What
lines
is today's piece
anymore.
of paper to choose from?
Well, you know,
What are today?
I could put down a blank piece of paper, but why do that? So, George R.R. Martin says that the winds of winter have been delayed because of fascism.
Of course.
It's not been a good year for anyone with the war everywhere, fascism on the rise. Let's see. Fascism, noun, often capitalized. A political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as the fasciste, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition. Well, obviously, George is talking about the message. Exalts a race. Yeah, that's what they do. They're very racist. They try to suppress opposition. Like poor Gary Beagle from Nerdrotic, as well as who was it? Ryan Kimmel and Geeks and Gamers were attacked by these fascists from regarding Ripley, or rewriting Ripley. I'm sorry. They are upset with Mr. Beagler and Geeks and Gamers and Mr. Kimmel's speech against, of all things, Star Wars and Disney on the side. Last week, Amanda Steinberg, look, they put the pronouns she, they.
She, they, okay.
Posted candid comments to Instagram about the rampage of bigotry and vitriol that she has received since leading the cast of The Acolyte, the latest addition to the Star Wars universe. Steinberg's experience is not new, in fact. This is a known tactic, initially provoked by former Breitbart news editor Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, they're trying to link Milo to these guys. That's funny. Who aggressively targeted Ghostbusters actor Leslie Jones under the guise of film criticism. Well, yeah, Leslie Jones did do horror. Well, it was probably the best thing in that horrible film.
Yeah, arguably, yes.
So what they wanted to do is tell YouTube to demonetize these people because they figure, oh, let's take away their money and then we'll take away their freedom. Their freedom. Yeah. So I guess that's the fascism that George Martin can't finish his book because of. And George, get over it. And thanks to Critical Drinker for the message that we're using here. All right, what would a day be without Disney? Everyone is probably aware of the 1.1 terabyte leak that Port Disney has suffered. And in this leak, a few of the fascinating things, people have done a little math. And Disney has spent $100 billion with a B, billion, on streaming. But they've only averaged $5.21 in revenue. That's not profit, but revenue per subscriber to Disney Plus. And wait a minute, something's wrong here. Disney Plus costs $7.99 minimum plus ads. So not only would you be getting $7.99, but you'd be getting the money from the ads. And then there are a lot of other people supposedly paying a lot more. How are they only averaging $5.21? Maybe not everybody is paying for Disney Plus. And maybe some people even have multiple accounts. But Disney, your market cap is $170 billion. You've spent $100 billion on streaming. You've lost another $50 billion or so in theaters and other places. And how are you making money? How are you keeping the lights on? Oh, this is how. Remember when we went to Disneyland, Disney World for our honeymoon?
Yes.
And they had that really great thing called Fast Pass. You walked up, you pressed the button,
yes.
They gave you a little ticket, and they told you come back in an hour, come back whenever, and you hopped in line. We never waited in the line. Yeah. Well, now they're charging for that, and a thing called Genie.
Oh.
So this thing has made them $724 million from October 2021 to June 2024. So 3 years. They just need that to keep their lights on.
Now, how much does a Genie cost?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but if you want to get on any ride in Disney, you can either wait in line for a couple of hours, or you could pay to get in front of the line. Well,
no. Here's the thing: is another option as far as asking how much. You could pay a disabled person.
You think that still works? You think that still works?
Well, how could it not? They can't question.
So now you have to have your cell phone in the park. There's no places in the park really to charge your cell phone, so you're screwed when the battery eventually and inevitably dies.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And let's further think about rides like, well, Splash Mountain, where you might get wet. And well, there goes your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this works at Disney. All I do know is people who do go to Disney say that it's really, that Soul Genie thing has really worsened the experience. Speaking of worsening experiences, we have, probably for the last time, I hope, Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's acolyte. You'll remember, of course, the famous Acolyte TV show that, of course, featured this little green girl and this guy with the beard, and it had the Wookiee with the lightsaber that had the cross guard, and it had this Brie Larson-like character, and that guy, and whoever that guy is, way behind the E on the Acolyte. Can't really see. The Acolyte was not at all a scam for Leslie Headland to make money. She didn't take this money and run. However, I do recommend Disney that you get a forensic accountant in there and find out where $180 million went, because I didn't see it in this TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But Leslie, on a radio podcast, has said that her white whale, her words, would be to do James Bond. And apparently she wants to do a gay James Bond.
Wow.
Now, all jokes aside about, of course, he wants his Goldfinger, and
Oh God.
and they're gonna bring back Pussy Galore, and yeah,
Well, no, it's gonna have to be Dick Galore.
yeah. So the reason why the white whale metaphor is so wonderful is that well, Ahab was there to kill the white whale, which would be James Bond.
Exactly what she
But the whale does end up killing him.
does.
I can't imagine she would ever get another job after the Acolyte. But hey, it's Hollywood, and I don't know how she got this job. So it's the 1-year anniversary of the famous Heels versus Babyface as rant about Starfield, and I really enjoyed Starfield. It gave me hours and hours of pleasure, much like Star Wars Outlaws has recently. I've been watching Mahler play this, and Mahler's enjoying himself immensely. It's not really quite a finished game yet, so there are sort of bugs and flaws and all sorts of things going wrong in it. And speaking of not finished games, we have Warhammer 2 Space Marine, which our good friend Az from Heel versus Babyface is playing now. So good that for the anniversary we get to return to watch Az play a video game. And he did enjoy himself. He said it's a good game. It's not woke. It's not diverse. There's a female officer, but that's not a problem because I've been reading the Warhammer books and in the Caiaphas Cain book. The first book is all about 2 Marine regiments, one all female and one all male, who have to combine into one regiment, and the fights between the men and the women, and which eventually turn into relationships. Yeah. And so there are plenty of women in Warhammer. I don't know what they're looking for. Even like the most powerful woman in the game is a Inquisitor, who sort of Caiaphas's girlfriend, but if you read between the lines. So, hey, you notice how this Marine character kind of looks like someone? It looks like Henry Caville, doesn't it? Well, poor Henry Caville is over there at Amazon under the thumb of Jennifer Salke, and he's trying to create a Warhammer TV show. He has until December to come up with a TV show. And I'm predicting that Jennifer Salke won't allow him. By Christmas time, we're going to hear about a new actor who's been taken on to this project. Too bad, Henry. So people are going to be saying about the Warhammer Space Marine that this was the last good game, because look what's coming. This is Tithes Warhammer. and they have a female space marine, for lack of a more
Politically correct term. No,
well,
it's
well,
female
well.
term.
She's probably an Adeptus Astartes, but no one knows what the hell that is. So let's just say space marine. You've all seen Alien. You can figure out they're just guys with guns in space. But this looks so much like Star Wars Outlaws when they have to pull in an ugly woman to girl boss it. I'd like to tell Warhammer don't do it, but I know I'm wasting my breath. So what the hell? Let's leave Henry Caville on the board for now. We'll put some of this stuff aside. Yeah, something for the ladies. I probably should have had a shirtless photo of Henry, huh? Yeah, maybe we'll have some more to think about poor Henry. Irving on camera 1, could you zoom in around here so we can see what we're doing? Irving, the finest internet cameraman money can buy. Irving, could you send
What did you just say last week about Fido?
Shh, don't let Irving hear that. Irving, would you? I think Irving's drunk. There we go.
Irving best not be drunk. just letting you know.
Oh, let's get to work here. Oops, I already broke the tip off my pencil.
I hate when that happens.
I hate when that happens. So the characters aren't entirely too small. There's a there's a layout problem all the time with this comic strip because, some characters are only 3 feet tall, where the main characters are 6 feet tall, so double the height. And it's tough to get them all in frame at the same time. So you do a lot of tricks. And I try not to ever draw characters that small because it's very difficult for the chief colorist.
Instead, I'll just draw 45 small cats.
So I would like to have Fido and Felicia team up and pal around more often, which is why we've introduced the third character of Closet Cat, the male cat. The relationship with Fido and Felicia are rather similar to my own relationship with my sisters. My oldest sister was sort of a bully. She beat up every boy in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And until I was about 13 years old, she beat me up regularly. And at that point, when I was able to defend myself, my sister Lisa and I teamed up on our middle sister, Laura. So Closet Cat will sort of, play Laura's role in our sibling relationship, although Closet Cat is completely different from my sister Laura. My sister Laura is like a Disney adult. She moved to Florida to be closer to Disney, and a lot of the bad news I get about what's happened to Disney comes from her. She's very upset with what Disney has become.
Does she go to Disney as much as she used to?
Not anymore. Nope.
Does she go to like the
It used to be
outskirt things even?
They've closed most of them. Downtown Disney is gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that's where no. Where did the guy swipe die?
Oh, on Disney property, but
No.
Disney wasn't responsible for that. But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there are still restaurants, but she doesn't go to Disney properties anymore.
Does she still have the condo close to it?
I think so. When we were down there, I was quite shocked by how the Florida residents themselves hated Disney.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I had no opinion whatsoever. It was just a childhood amusement park that I wanted to go to because on Sundays they had the Wonderful World of Disney TV show, which was like an advertisement for their tourist trap. And so it was one of the things I never got to go to as a kid because, my parents never had a divorce. So only divorced children got to go to Disney
in
World.
your neighborhood.
In my
went to
neighborhood.
Disney.
Yes, in my neighborhood will qualify that.
I am old enough that when I went to Disney, it was just the main park. Can't even remember the names of the different parks now.
Well, they didn't have Epcot. They didn't have.
Right.
They
Epcot,
must have had Busch Gardens, but they didn't
Yeah.
have. Yeah. Well, and Universal wasn't there.
nope.
Yeah.
Epcot was all but done.
Yeah.
You know, because you could see that giant Project
Golf
Earth
ball.
or whatever it is.
The golf ball.
Yeah. You could see the giant golf ball, and you know, they were talking about it and had things like, you know, coming soon or whatever.
The
But it was
experimental prototype city of tomorrow. Woohoo!
But
Yes.
it was the
Just a park where you can get drunk in.
but it was the magic. Did we see Mexico before? Yes, Charles, we did. We didn't go this way. No, your wife who can't walk that well would have gone all the way back. Anyway, sorry.
We went around Epcot twice, and it took that just for me to remember for the park, going one way and then the other. Because, well, I stopped at every pavilion to buy a beer.
Well, I mean, you had a taste of beer from every country.
The best beer was from either Japan or Germany. I had to think about it,
Yeah.
but it was definitely an Access Power.
It's really nice. I thought you liked one of them from like an offshoot, like India or something. I thought you liked.
Yeah.
But you claimed you weren't going to have one at America because you were like, wow.
Yeah, I already.
But then when you got
It was just Sam Adams.
Yeah, so you had to.
Yeah. Boston beer. Sorry, you got to support a Boston company.
That's right. It was also his birthday.
Ah.
So.
My birthday, was it?
Yeah.
I remember that. The whole day was kind of fuzzy,
a
little bit blurry. It's sort of like this camera, but blurry. So we're recording in 780p. I'm hoping we'll get a little bit of a clearer broadcast. Last week it looked horrible, but at least the sound was better. But every day with Fido the comic strip, every day is better than the day before. We're improving, usually.
Now, should you be checking to make sure that this is recorded?
Well, no, we don't have to
because
worry
we're
about
live,
that. Yeah,
okay.
we're going out live, and actually, you can, if you turn to your left, you can see on the big screen that it's going out. So you can actually see what I'm doing here.
Yeah, I should monitor that, but I'm coloring.
Yeah. We are not going out on Rumble. I still haven't been able to figure that out. So what we'll end up doing is repackaging this, probably giving it a title and everything, and then putting it out on Rumble later tonight. But as far as I know, we're going out live to YouTube and maybe even to Facebook, which is new for us.
Facebook.
Yeah. I don't think there are any humans really left on Facebook besides a few relatives, like aunts that you'll never see again. Just gonna droop his arm like this so you can just show how tired he is.
No.
So usually when I would do an arm, it would be there. So there'd be a joint here. This would be the hand, and the arms taper like that. But when you do a sharp angle like the elbow like that, it gives you the impression that there's action. The arm is doing something. Fingers 3, 4, 5. But with the arm just like a wet noodle here, it gives it the impression that he's just swinging it, letting it fall, swing naturally. And I put an X here to tell me that I'm going to paint that shirt black, the undershirt in the uniform. See the stripe on his pants? Wait a minute. There we go. See the stripe on his pants? It's because he's wearing his henchman uniform after coming home from my hard day's work. It's very important that I tell you all the storylines of what's going on here.
Well, it helps to know what's going on.
Well, I would love to have had the opportunity to see Charles Schultz draw Peanuts and have him explain what's going through his mind and where he originally came up with the idea of putting Snoopy on top of the doghouse and stuff like that.
Did Snoopy ever go into the doghouse?
Yes. In fact, there was a whole joke that he had a Van Gogh painting hanging in the hallway, and the pool table, card table, and a few other things in there.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I remember that.
Yeah. Running joke that Snoopy's doghouse was rather like Doctor Who's TARDIS. It was much larger on the inside than on the outside.
Can you? No, I guess you can't. It might be time for me to get another freaking pencil sharpener.
You need a sharpener pencil?
Yeah.
I can sharpen a pencil for you.
Can you sharpen this?
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I thought you had said once before you didn't want to.
Yeah, no problem. The marvels of technology. Look at that. Sharp pencil. What color is that?
That's not color, it's blender.
Oh, and why do you need a sharp? Well,
I need it sharp because it was very, very hard to use.
I've never used a blender color pencil. I'm not much into colors. I'm not a color guy.
I know you.
Even in art school, I wasn't very good at it. But actually, I wasn't very good at the brush either. And one of my teachers said, "You'll never really be good at a paintbrush, will you?" But art school's like that. You are what you come into the classroom with. You by accident learn anything, well, it's completely by accident.
Speaking of the no color, Mrs. Croce, what was your husband wearing when you left? If I ever get asked that question.
Oh, I think she's making fun of how I dress.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just explaining.
I just wear a black T-shirt, no decals, no letters, no advertisements. Like you'll never see me in a Coca-Cola shirt.
Hey, that was so cheap that I had to get it. I dare anyone out there who just wears comfy clothes to pass over a $3 Coca-Cola shirt from Coke.
My big fear is that I'll have a sponsor for this one day, and I'll have to wear their branded clothing.
Oh, I can't wait till that happens.
I might have to refuse sponsorship if they force me to wear their clothing.
No. Yeah, we do not refuse any.
We are whores. We will sell ourselves out to the highest bidder.
Yep.
Cartoonists like Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes, would never sell out. Burke Breath in Bloom County, they would never sell out. They had standards. They had honor, whatever else you want to call it. We don't have that here at Fido the Comic Strip.
Yep.
These characters are designed to be plushies.
And even if the cartoonist, has a weak moment and he wants to assert his, more his values and such, I'll beat him down like.
Well, Burke Breathitt would famously never allow a Build-A-Cat stuffed animal because it sort of killed the original joke that they had made Build-A-Cat to be their own Garfield.
Yeah.
But now you can see Build-A-Cat plushies all over the place. But Watterson is still holding strong on no Hobbes dolls. And what little kid wouldn't like to have had his own stuffed tiger?
Of course.
Yeah.
Tigger's pissed.
We have from Winnie the Pooh a Tigger stuffed plushie because when I was a kid, my sisters would have burn Tigger parties. We had this wood burning stove, and they would pretend to steal my beloved stuffed animal that I slept with to put it into the fire. And Tigger did eventually disappear, and I think he probably did end up in his own little stuffed animal Auschwitz oven.
It's an awful thought.
So when we were dating, my wife got me for Christmas a Tigger, stuffed animal, which we still have somewhere out here on the couch. Tigger's gone to Disneyland with us, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah. In the luggage. I wonder what when they opened that was before 9/11, but I wonder when they opened the thing, they probably thought there was a kid.
Before 9/11, you and I didn't even meet until 2000.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so it was after 9/11. So they did open the luggage.
The TSA was like, what the hell?
Must be a kid.
Yeah. They must have a kid or they're visiting a kid.
Oh, they're going to Disneyland. Of course they must have a kid.
Yeah. No grown adults would go to Disneyland without a kid.
We almost went to Deadwood.
We did. Well, I just wanted to take you somewhere on your birthday.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe you would want to go to Deadwood. And then when we were talking about it, you said, well, if I had my choice, I really want to go to Disney. All right, we'll go to Disney.
That's how powerful that show was, that they just threw away. We were going to go to Deadwood just because we liked the TV show. Wow. I'm pretty sure most of the audience don't even know what Deadwood is.
Probably not. Well, I thought it might be an interesting show, and at the time, I hadn't realized that you had to go to Disney because we had just started dating. Oh no, I guess we were dating for almost a year. So.
Yeah.
I told you I was out to dinner with my mom and her friends, and you and I had gone to Springfield, our town, and for like a weekend, and then we were talking about when I was out with my mother and her friends. I was talking about planning the trip to Disney, and one of the friends of the family looked at me and said, "Oh, so I guess the Springfield trip went well."
I should talk about Springfield. My sister, the one who Felicia is based on, is in Springfield right now. The MGM Grand Casino is there, and it's our favorite casino because Springfield is a whole Dr. Seuss town. They have a Dr. Seuss museum, and if you look around, you see some strange plants that could have been that could have inspired Theodore Geisel. It's a mystical town to us. It's a horrible, like nearly demilitarized zone of crime and drugs and homelessness, but we feel right at home.
We like it.
I understand why that casino is probably going to go under.
Hey, listen, the one in Everett's doing a lot better than I thought it would.
I can't imagine how that one is doing.
We have a lot of people right in this area who.
A lot of gambles, a lot of degenerate gambles. The only saving grace for the casino in Everett, Massachusetts, is that it's far away from it where anyone could possibly live. So they don't really have the neighborhood crime that a place like, well, Springfield would have. Remember the first night we were there, we were just watching the local news to see how many people were murdered that night.
I prefer to remember us watching the hawk. Or not the hawk.
I think it was a hawk. It was some bird of prey that had a nest on the cable. That's all done. Let's, I guess we can pull out the ink now. Let's choose a brush. Let's see what we have for brushes. That's not bad. A little bit hard. I think I'm going to go with the one that I've been using most of the week. This brush with the white tip on it is good for borders, but I've been using this brush that has that fantastic. Look at how sharp that tip is. Ignore that piece. Ignore that hair on the top that's sticking out. Yeah, ignore that hair on the top that just won't obey.
Sometimes you just can't tame
There we go, all tamed.
the Himalayan pubic squirrel here.
Well, yes, these brushes are made from the finest Himalayan tree squirrel pubic hair. They're very expensive because it's difficult to send the Sherpa. The Sherpa's union, of course, is very powerful there. You have to send a Sherpa up the mountain to actually denude the squirrel of its pubic hair.
Mhm.
Made for this.
But they get paid by the hair, so.
Yeah, look at that. That hair right there is bugging me. But it's halfway up the shaft, so it probably won't cause much of a problem. All right, and the ink. We are still using the Speedball Super Black, which
Every time you say that, it just sounds like a drug. We're still using the speedball. Okay.
let's do the word balloons, and hopefully that will have a chance to dry before we go back and do the characters. You may notice that I've done the finish penciling on just the main characters. The background characters probably won't get finished penciled because I'll do them in a lighter style so that they disappear in the background. Of course, the chief colorist will spend hours and hours of doing each and every character, giving them all different colors, where she probably could just gray them out and it'd be fine. But let's let her do as much extra work as she wants to do.
There's some fun in there.
Also, by doing the balloons first, we can condition the brush, get enough ink on it. So when we do eventually go to do the, look at that schmegma on the end of the brush.
Ew.
Horrible.
Don't call it that.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes, sometimes you gotta shake the Speedball ink to mix it,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it just doesn't mix completely. And look, I got a little bit of ink on the ferrule, so I know I'm just gonna touch that and get ink on my finger and wonder how I become such an ink-stained wretch.
But your mind stained wretch, my love.
Sometimes it's good. I just left the smegma on the tip of the brush, and I'm just going to let it come off on the page. Just the only way to get rid of it. The word balloons are just parentheses. And like the rougher the brush stroke, crap on the brush, the rougher the brush stroke, sometimes it helps give the appearance of me purposefully making the word balloon tell the reader how they should read what's there. Usually the thicker balloons are for when people yell.
I mean, you don't just do all caps?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. All caps is a tradition for the American comic strip because they usually shrunk so small. You need the caps just for legibility.
Mm.
A lot of the conventions that I work under really are not applicable today, but I still continue the conventions just out of tradition.
Mhm.
I'm preserving an American art form. We Americans, we happy few, are the creators of the comic strip. If there are no more newspapers I don't know if there are any. Not to my knowledge, I don't think they're printed in newspapers anymore, but they might be. I live in a sort of bubble. I haven't seen a newspaper in years, let alone a comic strip in a newspaper.
I got a daily newspaper every day in the
Well, we used to, yeah.
No, in the rehab, I was joking.
Oh, yeah. And that didn't have a comic strip.
No, it didn't. Should have.
Yeah. I used to deliver the Boston Globe as a child, and I would read the comics every day, and I think that's probably what inspired me to want to do this. Want to be a cartoonist, want to draw a comic strip. And it's also something very satisfying about the um, the layout. I slavishly stick to the 4-panel format. And rarely break that because it makes me happy.
And why are we doing this?
To make me happy. I'm thinking if I were to ever, build a house, I would have to have 4 windows to this scale and dimension, just 4 picture windows, just to echo that idea. All right, let's put this aside. Parentheses.
Oh, hey, can you,
Come back here. Come back to me, Henry Caville.
can you sharpen this one?
Yeah, sure.
It's the same thing. It's just a pencil, but here.
All right. Yep, she's got another one of these.
That's what I said. It's the same one. Or same.
Great job. There you go.
Yeah.
She's just out of reach.
I know. I can't get any closer. Get your darn people.
I'm sure every man dreams of working this close to his wife. Just out of reach. Just out of reach.
I heard you.
So I think poor Henry Caville's career is going to be such that every time he gets a job, he'll lose it because he's trying to do a good job and the producers just won't let him.
Mhm.
Because there's no way Jennifer Salke's going to allow him to do Warhammer the way he wants to do it.
Well,
They're going to have girl bosses that tell the men what to do.
they already do have girl bosses, like you said. They just have to embrace the kind of girl bosses.
They've overdone this to a point that we're reaching a time of backlash. So there will be a time when people will not tolerate even minor infractions. I can easily see the Eisenhorn or the Caiaphas Cain stories, them not being able to do it as it's written simply because there are too many girl bosses. All right, those word balloons are done. Let's bring back our new poster girl from Warhammer Tithes. Look, she's got this. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Where Henry? Where'd you go? Okay, Henry's a manly-looking man. Look at that chin. That is a manly chin.
Oh yeah.
But look at this chin. I mean, this looks like she's got a cleft. This is like Kurt Russell size. This is.
Whoa, that's
look
a
at
girl?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's the female character. That's going to be the female Adeptus Custodes
Okay.
in the new video game. that is probably not going to, but it's probably going to be very successful if history has anything to teach us on this. Let's keep the babe around for a while. How you doing,
You
Toots?
know, they just
Blonde. She's got sort of a military cut. She looks like she even has like big D cup titties. Ooh. Yeah, that's a woman.
WOMAN. I'll say it again.
I think they were going for like a Brianna of Tarth from Game of Thrones with this character.
Brianna of Tarth
Was a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like still a girl, mind you. I know she was larger, but she still had her moments, like her little crush on
Jamie Lannister.
Yeah.
Does anyone in a million years believe that she could have beaten up it wasn't the mountain, it was the dog.
Well, wasn't he sick?
Wounded. Perhaps.
I know it wasn't the dog. That doesn't sound right.
No, it was the dog. Yeah, the hound or something.
The
like
hound,
that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
The hound. It wasn't the dog. It was the
Yeah, it was that little prick called him the dog. The prince.
hound.
Oh,
Who died, and we all went.
Joffrey. It was Joffrey who called him the dog.
Oh shoot! I just said something that maybe spoiled it for somebody. But if you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now, you're not gonna know.
Oh, yeah, no one's gonna watch it since they bungled the ending. I hear House of the Dragon is good. I'll catch it eventually.
Didn't they say though?
But they did end it badly.
Yes,
Yeah.
the season ended badly.
Well, what happened is because of the writers' strike, they couldn't finish it right. Yeah.
You watched that whole thing about Rome. That was such a sad thing too. That show was awesome.
Yeah, Rome was supposed to go for 5 seasons. It barely went for 2, with the second season really disappointing us.
But they knew that the second season was going to be last season, and they still wanted to tell some of the stories.
Yeah.
So that's why they rushed through all of it.
Yeah, they tried to.
I tried to rush through.
Unlike Deadwood, they tried to give it a fitting ending.
I don't think. Did Deadwood know that they weren't going to get renewed? I thought they didn't have.
Well, was it a case of them not getting renewed, or was it just a case of the creator saying, "I want to do John from Cincinnati"? The famous John from Cincinnati. I'm sure we all remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
One that went on to win all those Emmys, right? David Milch. That's the name of the guy. Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
No. All I know is I'm very fond of John from Cincinnati. My cousin, John, who lives in Cincinnati.
You actually do have a John from Cincinnati.
I do.
And ironically, his name is John Smith.
Well, I wasn't going to disclose that.
Well, I don't think I doxed him.
No,
There might be a couple more John Smiths in Cincinnati.
in Cincinnati.
A couple.
Well, yes, because they tried to do a whole show about. Oh no, you meant not. Yep, I've often said I can't do my family tree because it would just look like a freaking bush. Because of the very common names involved in my family tree. Smith being one of them. Little off tangent.
Sure. Yeah.
Just came to my head. One of the reoccurring things on our live stream was the concern of the phone call.
Yeah.
Have you explained that to the audience?
We did have an episode in which I said, the pizza party, dealing with death. She hadn't died yet at that point, but she did pay for my pizza.
She did.
My mother-in-law has, of course, passed on.
I'm not gonna bring anything down. I just was curious as to whether or not you had mentioned anything because
So we don't have to worry about her phone call in the middle of the live stream. And if she does call in the
that's
middle
what I
of
was just gonna say. If my mother calls during the live stream, I'm probably gonna have a little bit of a heart attack. So
a bit of a Beetlejuice moment.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the reason why I've decided not to see Beetlejuice in the theater, besides the fact that we don't have very many theaters around, is because of the CarMax commercial. If you want to destroy your franchise, do what they did with Beetlejuice with the CarMax commercial. It just reminded me that how like mediocre that film was, and when they started playing the Banana Boat song, I don't want to see that film.
I'll see it maybe if it comes out in something that we can see.
Maybe on streaming.
Right. If it comes out on Netflix, I'll probably see it.
But then again, maybe not, because a lot of these films, they say, okay, catch on streaming. I see them on streaming and don't bother watching.
And don't bother, yeah, I know.
Like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. No interest. It's there. It's on Netflix. I can watch it or Amazon, one of those things. Watch it anytime I want. I just don't want to.
I think that's part of it. Some of these mediocre shows, you can watch it whenever. So it's like, I'm not in the mood. I think maybe if they said it's free for the next 2 weeks, you might say, all right.
Okay, I've got to spin this because I like to have a place to plant my hand when I'm doing strokes like that.
That's what she said.
We're doing the stroke that is the bottom decorative. I think this is a shoe rack on the coat rack. I referenced this from an actual coat rack that exists in the world, and I assume that's something besides just a base to keep it from falling over. But who knows? Come with us, Brianna of Tithes. We'll call her Brianna of Tithes because that's the name of the. That's the name of the video game.
Okay.
And we'll all be able to say, well, this was the good Warhammer. And, well, too bad about this one. So our good friend Az from Heels versus Babyface seemed to have had a good time playing this game. The few places I saw it besides Az, there were a lot of bugs, and it was less than a finished game. And I don't know why people put up with that these days. They actually pay extra money to play the game before it's finished. I'm from the old days where they had it in a plastic cassette, so it had to be a finished game before they even thought about giving it out to the people. But now, video game companies treat their audience like testers, unpaid testers.
In fact, not even unpaid; they pay you.
Oh, yeah.
They pay you to test it.
Your customers will pay you to test the product. What genius that is. It's sort of like if you had customers who would stock your shelves for you in the supermarket. I think Mr. Beast has a
supermarket.
No, he's the first to encourage people to stock supermarket shelves. He's telling his fans to go into Walmart, and if you see the Beast bars are not stocked properly, to restock the shelf. You can take a photo, and I guess he'll give you money. Yeah. So Beast has what's the word I'm looking for?
Trailblaze.
Yeah, something like that.
Created, brought about.
Yeah, whatever.
Produced.
So I'm not a gamer only because I draw a comic strip and I really don't have time to game. But I probably am a little bit more aware than your average audience because I watch this crap on YouTube. And for Warhammer, there are 400 books. One of the reasons why I think poor Henry Caville is going to fail with Amazon is because no way in hell is Jennifer Salke ever going to hire anyone who's actually read half of those books. From hearing Caville talk, I think he's probably a little bit more knowledgeable about the whole Warhammer universe than I am, but not by much. He doesn't spend more than 4 hours a day video gaming, and reads probably about as much as I do. I'm only interested in this thing because I was interested to see what would come out of Amazon with him. But I have no faith whatsoever in Amazon to do the right thing. And Henry, I hope that you prove me wrong. Save us, Obi-Wan Caville. You're our only hope. When I do have criticisms about the whole Warhammer universe. It's a very depressing universe, as it is. I'm from the sci-fi generation where you wanted your sci-fi to be optimistic.
There's a bright future.
Yeah, the good guy wins in the end. It's a bright future for humanity, all that sort of stuff. And I still have the hope that there will be a bright future in Warcraft for humanity, because there are some hints. There's a whole group of Ultramarines, as it were, who just handle the calendar. They make sure that everyone knows what date it is. And in the Warhammer universe, at one point, the entire order just disappears. And then they return and no one says anything about it, like, where were you? That sort of thing. So we get the idea that, maybe they have time travel. So it's going to be an interesting storyline. And apparently they've gone back and fixed things to save humanity. And we're hearing that the Emperor might be coming back, which will also be very interesting.
So you said there's 400 books?
Over 400 books, yeah.
What number book are you on now?
I've read about 12. I've read the Eisenhorn series, which is about, 3 or 4 books. The Caiaphas Cain, but I'm not through all of Caiaphas Cain yet. Only a few. And I want to get into the Horus Heresy eventually. The guy who wrote Eisenhorn actually wrote the Horus Heresy. Whole storyline behind the Horus Heresy. I'm sure everyone at home is going to be fascinated by this. But
I'm captivated.
But he was one of the Emperor's original chosen sons, and when the Emperor went out to conquer the universe, bring all the disparate planets of mankind together, after they've been torn asunder by war and the loss of all technology, the Emperor decides to return back to Earth to sit on the golden throne so that he can complete a project but he never tells anyone what that project is. And eventually, the guy is corrupted. Horus is corrupted by a
The evil.
evil weapon,
Oh.
and decides to go back and overthrow the emperor. In the ensuing battle, the emperor is no longer able to do the project he wanted to do, and is left mortally wounded. So now he's a rotting corpse sitting on the throne. They have to sacrifice 1,000 people a day to keep him alive.
Oh.
And that's that. What's up?
That doesn't seem worth it.
Well, the emperor is a very powerful psychic, and his just being there is like a lighthouse in the warp that allows mankind to navigate the warp. If the
He
emperor
didn't
was
see his ultimate demise, did he?
if the emperor wasn't there, mankind would no longer be able to travel to all these other planets and stay united.
Still, 1,000 people a day.
1,000 psychics a day. This is during a
1,000
time.
psychics?
This is during a time when, well, after which we've monkeyed around with the human genome enough that not only are we able to make 2-meter tall space marines, but we're also able to make people with psychic powers and a lot of other mutant types, which of course are considered heresies. The galaxy more or less worships the emperor as a god, which in his life he would never have allowed. I mean, he was very atheistic, didn't believe in gods, wanted mankind to be a little bit more logical. But that all went out the window.
Mm-hmm. Well, things like that will happen when you become a rotting corpse.
Rotting corpse on a golden throne. Yeah, I suppose that's a common thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how many rotting corpses on a golden throne have you known who weren't like that?
Are we really going to sit here and talk about Warhammer the entire?
That was about my extent
Yeah.
and not my knowledge, whatever you're saying.
I'm pretty sure that after Henry Caville gets fired in December by Amazon, that we'll be able to drop the whole Warhammer thing and not have to read any of the books anymore or follow the series because there just won't be any reason to. You can already see the future that's going into video games. You already know what Amazon wants to do to it because, well, we've seen what this woman can do with a franchise. How some of these people have their jobs, I'll never know. Remember back in the day when poor Robert Evans had to do every con in the world to keep his job. And these people fail and fail and fail and still have no fear of losing their job. And Robert Evans gave us Godfather. He gave us Chinatown. He gave us all this great stuff, and they still gave him a hard time at Paramount. The guy who's in charge of Paramount now, believe it or not, owns Robert Evans's old house. He so bad wants to be linked with Evans. I believe this is me getting into the man's head. But if anyone has seen the Robert Evans autobiographical movie, you know this house. It was a big part of his identity. It was a really great cartoon featuring Robert Evans.
Yeah.
On I think it might have been Adult Swim. It might have been one of those sort of things.
Probably.
Yeah. But if you can find it, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Evans was a character in and of himself, very egotistical, as you would imagine, being a Hollywood producer.
Was it really him?
Well, it was a cartoon that was based on actually the character of himself from the documentary film.
Okay.
So they really played up all the excesses.
Okay, but was Robert?
I believe Robert Evans might have been dead by that point. He was. I don't believe he was involved in the actual cartoon. Yeah. It was rather like, I suppose, BoJack Horseman. I never could get into BoJack Horseman, but
Neither could I.
Yeah.
We couldn't get into it. A lot of people seem to like that.
yeah.
It was It was too much. It was.
So I've decided to make Felicia walk out of the panel here. But walking out of the panel, it's sort of almost like she's going into the third panel. And I'm hoping we get the idea that she's just coming off the page toward us. And then no reason in the joke at all for her to be walking off the panel. But when I drew it, I had to finish drawing her leg and arm. And I just left it there and made the space for it when I did the borders. So there's no reason whatsoever for Felicia to be walking out of the panel here, besides that it makes me happy. And
Why are we doing this?
and well, I like being happy. Yes, I've oftentimes said that if everyone in the world drew a comic strip, they would all be very happy. But we would all be dead soon, freezing, starving in our apartments, because we still need people to do actual work, like, construction, like I used to do, keeping the lights on, grocery shopping, even farming. We need guys like Jeremy Clarkson out there.
I love that show.
The last Top Gear, or no, actually not Top Gear, it's Grand Tour, but might as well be called Top Gear, is this week, I believe.
Yeah. The Nerdrotic people were saying they were going to watch it together, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or something like that. They were going to have a watch party.
Let's see. Where are you, Gary? Up there in the papers. Everyone remembers what Gary looks like.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, you can just check out his prison tabs. He's very open about having been in prison, so I'm not making like.
You're not outing him?
I'm not
Doxing
him. And there's something else about him that he's very often mentions, and I think he owned his own shop.
I don't think he owned a comic book shop. That's impossible. No. All right. We are almost done here. Wonder how we're doing on time. It's really nice not to have to worry about looking at the computer to guess whether or not it's recording.
Mm-hmm.
We've had so much trouble with Apple QuickTime, just saying, "Oh, the document's corrupted. We can't play it back." And I've lost over 10%. of these.
Well, you started at noon?
Yeah.
It's almost 1:30.
Wow, hour and a half. Jeez,
Yeah.
it's a long one.
It's like 1:25 right now.
Well, let me finish Fido off here, and then we'll send
Fido.
anyone home. Hey, we've got to come up with a title for this one. Any ideas there, Chief Colorist?
Something to do with war.
Well, we spoke about Warcraft a lot, and how we have no confidence in Jennifer Salke. No confidence in.
It's time for Caville to become a real hero.
Regarding Henry.
I like it.
Yes, regarding Henry Caville.
Mhm.
What's up? Irving, would you zoom out a little bit? There we go.
Oh, he nearly fell asleep. You haven't been using him that much.
So we have Henry Caville here. We'll call this regarding Henry Caville. He's our hero. We love the man,
We hope.
but we know he's going to be unemployed this December.
Ew, excuse me. Sorry for the sneeze there, people.
So I assume, I don't have to explain this, that there was a Harrison Ford film called Regarding Henry.
I hope you got this.
Yeah. Anyone who's watched Fido in the past know that I did a joke about Regarding Henry remake. Wow, that was probably in around Fido 25.
Wow.
And this is Fido 115 regarding Henry Caville. We have no confidence that Amazon will do Warhammer justice. But Henry Caville is going to try his best, and we'll find out this December. Well, thank you for joining us. Hope you come back next week for Fido 114.
See you soon.
And we're good at this.